Hey guys, for today's video, I'm gonna be doing my first double review in over a year. I think the last time I did a double review was last year with Oppenheimer and Barbie. And yeah, since then I kind of just stopped doing them. Though there have been a fair few times throughout this year where I could have possibly done some positive reviews, but I've seen a lot of movies this year. But for today's video, anyways, I'm gonna be going back and one of these films I'm going to be reviewing is a movie which came out a few months ago now. It's like 4 months ago now, but this movie Boy Kills World. I saw this one back in April. This one came out the same weekend as Challengers. And yeah, I went to see this back when it came out, but I just didn't get the time to review it. But I went to see The Crow there yesterday, and well, originally this was going to be a single review of The Crow, but instead I decided, you know what, Boy Kills World, I didn't get a chance to review that one when I saw it, and then I had an idea, you know what, let's do a double review of them, because I mean, they have a fair amount in common. Well, of course, they both star Bill Skarsgard in the lead role. They're both action revenge movies. They're both very violent and bloody and gory. They're both from the same distributor, Lionsgate. Well, I don't think Lionsgate distributes either of these films in Ireland, but yeah, anyways, also I'm pretty sure they have like the same run time as well, around an hour and 15 minutes, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, so today is going to be a double review of Boy Kills World versus The Crow. So yeah, anyways, let's get into reviewing both of these movies, starting things off with Boy Kills World. So the plot of this one goes that it's set in this future where this whole society is being run by this family called the Vandercoys, and it's like basically every single year they have this event called the Culling, where they kidnap random innocent people and murder them on live television, like for fun. And our titular character, who is just known as Boy, when he was a child, his mother and sister were murdered by the Vandercoys, and he almost died, but he managed to escape. But in doing so, he ended up becoming both deaf and mute, and basically he was found by this shaman who basically trained him up, and he's now this experienced fighter, and now as an adult, Boy goes to the Vandercoys, and he's gonna basically try and kill them, and he'll get his revenge. So yeah, this is basically a really kind of bloody action revenge movie. In terms of my thoughts on this film, I have to say, for the most part, I quite enjoyed it. Like, I mean, I think, like, in terms of cinematography, it is a well shot movie. Like, I mean, it's like really crazy. Like, the cinematography for this film, it does go like really over the top insane with the amount of brutal violence in here. And I also do think the way the movie is shot is done really well, and there actually is some good shots here. I like the techniques they use to shoot the films at times, and it just becomes like another blast. Like, especially so we kind of get drone shots. We kind of like see the drones kind of flying through this shot. We see where we're kind of being shown a lot of what's going on. It's a really kind of fun, fast paced cinematography. But I have to say, I think it's quite good, and I think the editing here is good as well. Again, also just really, kind of fast paced during a lot of these action sequences, but it is well edited, and it helps add that momentum and sort of making the film that bit more fun. So I thought the editing was pretty well done here. The pacing, I think, is quite good. As I said, this movie is an hour and 51 minutes, and not really too long a film, but like, it is a little long, but I mean, honestly, like, you might feel the runtime a bit, but also I don't think you'll be that bothered by the runtime. Like, maybe the movie can feel a little long, but with the amount of bloody action sequences throughout this film, I don't think you'll really mind like the pacing all that much. I think like overall like the story is well paced enough. So I think overall the pacing is quite good. The sound and music, I think, is quite good here as well. Like, I mean, I do like some of the sound effects throughout the film. Like, kind of has goes for a bit of that kind of video game style, and I think it's quite well done, and kind of helps add a bit of flair and style to the movie. And I think overall the score in this film is quite good, and kind of really helps, with like that whole like fun, like kind of adding a bit of that like intensity to it. So overall, I think the sound and music is quite good. In terms of the characters and the performances from the cast, so we of course have the main character, Boy, and Boy, he is an engaging main protagonist. He's a fun main character. I think like you're able to get behind him and root for him to get his revenge. And I mean, of course, he is played in this by Bill Skarsgard, but Bill Skarsgard, as well as constantly having to just fight a bunch of people throughout the film, he also has to be completely silent because his character is mute and deaf, and he does it really well. He does well, kind of displaying Boy's emotions, and like, yeah, he does a very good silent performance here. But we also have Boy's inner voice, because he gives himself an inner voice, and his inner voice is narrated by H. John Benjamin, who is a voice actor. You might know him from some of the animated shows he's been in, but he's in this as Boy's inner voice, and yeah, he does really well here as the inner voice. Yeah, along with Bill Skarsgard, they both like do really well in the role of boys. So I thought like they did very well here. I won't go too much into like all the other characters. But like we do have like quite the supporting cast in this. Like in the supporting cast, we've got like Jessica Roth. We have Andrew Koji. We got Michelle Dockery, Brett Gelman, Charles Copley, Van K. Jansen, uh, quite a few others, and yeah, honestly, I think they all do well enough in their supporting roles. Like, I mean, their characters may not be particularly amazing, but they all do well in the supporting performances, and they kind of tell they do bring a lot to these roles, kind of do help make them a bit more memorable and fun. So yeah, overall, I would say the characters may not be amazing, but I think the acting in here is definitely quite good, with a lot of fun in here, but especially the standouts are Bill Skarsgård and H. John Benjamin. So yeah, overall, like the characters are not amazing, but I think the acting here definitely helps make them more memorable. In terms of this movie's plot, now, I mean, the film kind of has, a bit of like a familiar premise, with our main like action hero having to go and try and like kill this regime that was responsible for his family's death. It's basically that typical kind of revenge action movie that you've seen a bunch of these. Like some of the obvious ones would come to mind, like John Wick, but also it's quite funny that this movie came out the same month as Monkey Man, because of course Monkey Man was also an action revenge movie, and of course that one also had Charles Copley in a supporting role. But while Monkey Man was more of a thriller, this movie Boy Kills World is more of a comedy. Cause like I mean, it kind of goes for that whole kind of style of dark, violent comedy and stuff, and like yeah, it's very kind of wild. It's definitely this really like high octane, insane, bloody, gory action flick, but it's definitely a lot of fun, I will say. This movie, it would basically be the Deadpool to Monkey Man's Wolverine. It is honestly a lot of fun, and for the most part, it's definitely just really enjoyable, as this like action revenge movie with a bit of comedy in it, but there is a twist during the film's climax, I will say, and I mean, I do have to say it's actually quite a good twist. Granted, maybe you might see it coming, but I really liked the way that they did it and stuff. I actually found it really interesting, the revelation. So overall, I would say the plot of the movie was quite good. What they did with it, being this action revenge movie, it was a lot of fun. In terms of the narrative structure, like obviously, that is kind of the main plot with this one is boy going on his revenge, trying to avenge his deceased mother and sister, and honestly make for him, a good and really fun action narrative. Now, of course, there is that twist in the film's climax, and when that twist happens, I will say that is when it just completely flips the narrative over. And it's interesting. Like maybe on rewatch, knowing what the twist is and kind of seeing, all kind of like hints and stuff and how it's gonna come about later on. It is honestly very interesting, and it does well with the narrative and makes it that much more compelling. So overall, I thought the narrative structure was pretty well done here. So overall, I liked Boy Kills World. I mean, it was honestly a really fun revenge movie. As I said, it was a lot of fun. It was very kind of violent and bloody, and it could be kind of quite funny. There was good acting, especially from Bill Skarsgard and H. John Benjamin, and there is an interesting twist during the film's climax, and there's a lot of good violence and music in there as well. That's cinematography. Overall, it's a fun time. If it sounds like you'd be your thing, you want like a real kind of bloody action revenge film, a bit of like comedy, then I think it's worth checking out. So overall, I had a good time with Boy Kills World, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So now we get on to the other movie, The Crow. Now, The Crow is a film which I did not have very high expectations for, because I mean, if you've seen the original Crow from 30 years ago, with Brandon Lee, I rewatched the film, and it's a classic action horror film. It's 30 years old now, and of course, if there was the tragedy that happened on the film set, with the death of the lead actor Brandon Lee. Honestly, it was very tragic, but it overall it was just an utter classic like action horror film. It's not like replaceable. I mean, I know there were like a few sequels, but like I never like watched any of those sequels, because there just kind of always is just that one Crow movie. But for the last like 15 years or so, they actually have been trying to make a reboot of The Crow. Just been going back and forth with it. Like there's been multiple directors and multiple stars that have come in and out, but now after 15 years or so of trying to get this Crow reboot off the ground, they finally have, with Bill Skarsgard in the lead role as Eric Draven, or The Crow. And I mean, it's not one that I really had very high expectations for, with the original Brandon Lee film being, iconic and classic and stuff. It's not like one you can really replace, but I try to go in like hoping like, maybe it could be like an okay thing, like as its own thing, but the reviews were quite bad for this one, and having been to see it yesterday as of recording this video, I can say that unfortunately this was not a very good film. Yeah, I think I will definitely be sticking to that Brandon Lee original. Yeah, like I mean, like the cinematography is not terrible. Like I mean, there are some decent shots in here. Like I mean, there is like an opera scene in the movie where there's some good shots, but that aside, it's kind of drab. Like there's not really much of a style to it compared to the real kind of gothic flair of the original movie. And not to mention as well, there's times where the film can just look a bit like too dark and you're having to kind of squint your eyes a bit in order to see what's properly happening. And yeah, so overall the cinematography is just not great, and the editing also, there's nothing really that special to say about it. Like for the most part, this just isn't really an amazingly edited movie. Now there is one scene in the movie with some very good editing, I will say, and like there is one scene in this movie that I do really like. A lot of other people have been saying it. It's this one scene at this opera house where he's fighting his way through these guards and he's killing them. That scene is really good, and there's actually some genuinely good editing during that scene, I'll admit. But that one scene aside, there's just nothing really special to say about the editing in this film. But like, in terms of the film's pacing, like obviously this movie has like a runtime of around an hour and 15 minutes, around the same runtime as Boy Kills World. But honestly, I just don't think this movie does a very good job with the pacing, because like I mean, in this one, like we actually do get to see a bit of Eric and Shelley's relationship. The film dedicates like the first half an hour or so to it. But like honestly, I just don't think it was well executed. I'll get to it in a bit, but like this movie is just quite a slog to get through. It's just not paced well at all, and like like there is some exciting action towards the third act, but for most of the film, it's just slowly making its way towards things, and it's just get very boring because of it. Um, yeah, so overall the pacing here was just not very good. Sound and music in this film, like I mean, there is some decent needle drops in here at times, I'll admit, but there's nothing really that interesting to say about the film's score. It's just a very kind of bland, very kind of generic score. Not really much else to say about it other than that. So yeah, overall the score in this movie is just not very good. In terms of the characters and the acting, obviously we have the main character Eric Draven, otherwise known as the Crow, and yeah, I did not like this movie's version of Eric, because like I mean, like the way he was written here, like I just didn't like it, and I just couldn't get invested in him like as a character compared to Brandon Lee in the original. I just could not get invested with Eric here as a character, and look, in fairness to Bill Skarsgard, he tries his hardest, but yeah, he just couldn't make Eric a very interesting character. We get to see a bit of his lover Shelley, and like I couldn't get with her as a character either. Like in terms of the performance from FKA Twigs, like everyone else been saying it, her and Bill Skarsgård, like they just did not have that chemistry at all. Yeah, so like also I just didn't like her either. There's not really much else to talk about. Like I mean, the supporting characters are all just very forgettable and stuff, especially compared to the original movie with some very memorable supporting characters in that film. In this one, the supporting characters are just so flat, wooden, forgettable. But yeah, the villain in this one, Vincent Rogue, um, he's like this guy, and I will say like he has like this whole like supernatural power. I'm not gonna lie, it actually is like an interesting idea, but the film just does not do anything with it, and as well as that, he's just not in the movie for a lot of it. So yeah, he was just a very bland, forgettable, and just very stupid villain. Honestly, yeah, Danny Houston was definitely wasted here as the main villain. Um, so yeah, overall the characters and the acting were just bad. Um, in terms of the plot, like I mean, it has like the same basic plot of the original. Eric and Shelley are murdered, and Eric gets brought back from the dead to avenge him and Shelley. Yeah, I just did not like the way it was executed here, because like with the original movie, like I mean, I really felt that Eric loved Shelley and that he wanted the two of them to be avenged, but like with how little chemistry Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs have here, I just didn't feel it at all. Um, as I said, it's just a really boring slog of a movie to get through. Like I mean, most of the action is pretty lackluster, and yeah, it's boring, and it's just forgettable. It's a massive slog. I'll admit the one scene at the opera house, that scene was really cool, but unfortunately, the rest of the movie just did not live up to it. So yeah, as well as that, the dialogue here is quite bad as well. Like, oh boy, there are actually some pretty bad lines of dialogue here. So overall, it was just quite a bad plot. The way it was executed, it was just boring, a slog to get through, and yeah, compared to the original, it was just nothing. Yeah, in terms of the narrative structure, the main plot here is, Eric is trying to avenge him and Shelley's deaths, and yeah, like, it's just so poor the way that it's done. I just couldn't get invested in Eric's revenge. And like, it just kind of makes for some kind of lackluster action sequences. It's just, a really boring film to get through. As I said, there is that one cool scene at the opera house, but that's about it, and it's just not a very captivating revenge plot. Um, and also to mention the whole subplot with the main villain and his like supernatural power. It's an interesting idea, but the movie just does not do anything with it. So yeah, overall, it was quite a bad narrative structure. So the overall, The Crow 2024 is quite a bad film. Like there's some okay shots, there's some cool needle drops, and like there is that one good scene at the opera house. Bill Skarsgard tries, but ultimately he can't save this film from just being a mess. Like ultimately, it's just a very like bland and honestly kind of forgettable action revenge movie. It's just so boring. It's a slog to get through. Uh, it's just quite uninteresting and poorly executed. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't really recommend checking this one out. I would say just stick to the Brandon Lee original because this new film just isn't worth your time. So on that, I'm going to give The Crow a 3 out of 10. So yeah, Boy Kills World is the definite winner of this one. Like, I mean, I'd say Boy Kills World would be a fun movie to watch, if you want a fun action revenge comedy, but The Crow, on the other hand, yeah, I recommend just watching the original with Brandon Lee and just never minding that one. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that movie fight there. And with that, I'll see you on my next movie review, and bye.